I fly back to the U.S. on Motzei Shabbat. The plane touches down at JFK, and for some reason passengers erupt into applause. But it's JFK. When wheels reach the tarmac, I reach for my phone. It's 6 a.m. The New York Times logo flashes. White supremacist Nazis infiltrate Charlottesville. Torches, spewing hate. One person is murdered, 2 policemen dead, and dozens injured. The President of the United States of America equates counter-protesters with neo-Nazis, chastises violence on both sides. Welcome home. And here we are, and it's Parshat Shoftim, and it's the new month of Elul. Elul, which is our internal tshuva tarmac, launching us towards the 10 biggest days of the year. The 10 days of return, Aseret Yemei HaTshuva. And so as we go deep this month into Cheshbon HaNefesh, into an accounting of the soul, where we reflect on the past year and we shift our gaze to the coming year, we walk alongside the book of Deuteronomy, the final act of the Torah. And in the landscape of Devarim, there's Moshe and the Israelites overlooking the land of Israel, looking towards the future. And in 3 extended monologues, Moshe publicly takes stock of the past 40 years. And he plans for this future which he will not live to see. As my friend and colleague Yitz Landis observed a few weeks ago, Devarim is Moshe's Cheshbon Nefesh. Deuteronomy is Elul for Moses. What does it look like for Moses' process of tshuva to impact, inspire, and shake up our own? This week, it's Parshat Shoftim, people. And Moses outlines a set of communal structures to build and maintain a just civil society. A court system with lower and higher courts, a moral code for judges and politicians, guidelines for trustworthy witnesses, and of course, a national leader, a king. What are the qualities listed for this leader, for this king in Parshat Shoftim? Firstly, he shouldn't have had many wives. Furthermore, he shouldn't have many horses, lest he turn the people back to Egypt in order to acquire more horses. In other words, he should not have amassed ostentatious pomp and wealth that would lead him to oppress the people and bring them back to the dark ages for the sake of his own gain. Finally, his heart should not be haughty over his brothers and sisters, but I digress. The leitmotif of this week's Parsha is tzedek, justice. The Torah grabs us by the kishkas and shakes us. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, lema'an tichyeh. Justice, justice you must pursue in order to live. These words ring in our ears as in the first days of Elul we begin to shine a light on our actions of this past year. Shoftim urges us to scrutinize the behavior of our country, our political entities, and our own small communities. Where are we on the long arc bending toward justice? As my chavruta, Rabbi Shoshana Friedman, noticed, many of us thought we were a bit farther along in the bend than we find ourselves today. And what is our role as individuals? Have I pursued justice with the fierceness and commitment with which I pursued eclipse glasses? In this past year, have I stepped up and forward for the sake of truth and justice? Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. And not just one tzedek. We got two justices here. Ramban, in a gravelly 13th century Spanish accent, says, the first tzedek is for the politician, for the judge. Have our court rulings been just? Have our local and national leaders acted for the sake of all who dwell in our country or who have chosen to make a home here? Have they acted for what is morally right? And the king we look to before, is he leading us towards an advanced justice, or is he leading us back to Egypt? And Nachmanides speaks of the second tzedek as well. So the first is the politician, and the second, that's you and me. We must not demand of our leaders what we don't demand of ourselves. Our cheshbon nefesh, our soul accounting this year, must be a cheshbon tzedek, a justice accounting. 12th century commentator Ibn Ezra, also in a Spanish accent, argues that you must pursue justice whether it profits you or not. We have a tendency to become inured to injustice when it works in our favor. Part of our cheshbon tzedek this year must be investigating how we benefit from unjust systems and doing what we can to restructure these systems, even at a loss to our own sense of comfort and security. So what is our cheshbon tzedek? What is my and your tshuva of justice for this year? What am I willing to do? What are you willing to give up? What is one action that you want to take, that you are willing to take in the month of Elul, that you will carry with you into the full year? Because next month we'll stand before the ark with hands, fists against our heart, and declare, Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the mark that we missed, for the sin that we committed, for resorting to violence, for baseless hatred, for greed and oppressive interest, for selfishness, for betraying trust, for succumbing to confusion and overwhelm, and for injustice. One action. Where did we fall short this past year? And what will we transform? Please rise.